This is Antifa, of course. Antifa groups across the U.S. are urging their militants to join up and embed in the No Kings protest. They view it as an opportunity to build connections with anti-Trump liberals in order to radicalize and recruit them into the Antifa violent militant cause.
This morning, the warnings coming out that a lot of these people, a lot of these violent rioters, the BLM Antifa types, that there's a coordinated effort for them to go to certain websites to purchase what they need to blend in. And their blending in is going to be wearing MAGA gear. They're going to be dressing at just like J6.
We're breaking free. We're destroying that entire system. I think it's Nazi based. The Nazis didn't lose World War II. They just basically New World Ordered everything.
If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
Kudos to all the sheriffs around the country that have that same frame of mind. I know a lot of them are restrictive, like we've seen in a lot of these big blue city and states that are blue. I think peaceful protests are great. That's what America's about. Mm-hmm. And law enforcement is there to keep people safe, regardless of what they're protesting about. But when it becomes violent, like we pretty much know these guys are moving this to violence, I think there should be a really hard pushback on that.
There's no debating that Venezuela has become a narco state. And as a narco state, their weapon of choice, they can't take us on militarily, but they can bring massive destruction into our country and our cities. And with the massive deaths of the population, I think so far this year, it's well over 110,000 deaths from fentanyl.
You leave with boats, we're going to blow them up. You're going to get a direct energy weapon. Everything that we have now is going to be targeted on anything. And we're going to start to hit land. That's what Trump just said. We're going to start to come on the land when we see targets now. So they're going to just putting pressure and pressure and pressure. I've been part of these operations, for 35 years. So this is what's happening. Now, even bigger picture again, we look at President Trump said that he was going to send Tomahawks. This was baiting, again, the deep state.
Guys like Maduro, they need to answer for their crimes against humanity, not just what they've done here in the U.S., but what they've done to their own people.
I was SEAL Team 6 and work with Delta and everything. They're already down there running operations around Venezuela right now. There's evidence of that. So they will be targeted with getting Maduro. Constitutional Sheriff Richard Mack, he's talked about how they're going to target not only little cities and so forth, but also infrastructure, taking out the grid, taking out water plants, attacking hospitals, and so forth. 9/11, all these, the COVID nonsense, all these different things are surprise attacks by the deep state. So at some point, we'll be somewhat surprised, but we're preparing ourselves as much as possible to completely defeat them. Trump is playing a delaying tactic while Putin, who he's in cahoots with, is destroying the Nazis and the NATO alliance. I think that's what's happening now.
We're always talking about, from our side, from the spiritual side, meeting low energy with low energy or dark energy with dark energy and type of battle. All that does is feed the satanic realm. It's that trauma, that violence, that vibration they feed off of. I like to think I'm a fairly spiritually ascended guy, but I'm telling you, I see no other way to meet this than with brutal return violence, because I hate to say that. Simple fact is, the more that our side allows this to go on, the more property is destroyed and the more innocent lives.
I think a lot of people are becoming educated, like we've been trying to help them get educated on what's really going on in Israel. So that's the Khazarian mafia that's running Israel. It's not Jewish. Israel was a chosen place for the Zionists, and the Zionists were not very good for the Jews themselves.
Are you noticing in social media this rapidly growing wave of opposition toward Israel, toward the regime, the Khazarian regime, and towards the Jewish people themselves? Charlie Kirk was virtually publicly ready to go in complete opposition to Israel for these reasons. And this is not about the Jewish people in Israel.
It's not Jewish people per se. It is a government that's out of control. You look at Maduro down in Venezuela. You think the Venezuelan people are like all evil because he does his craziness? No, of course not. Biden, You think all American people are crazy because of what Biden did? Tried to start World War III? No. I think a lot of people are aware of that. This massive MK Ultra thing that's been going on for a long time, that Israel can do no harm and they're the chosen people and all these things. That's a false narrative.
We could be living lives like multi-millionaires, every last human on earth, if we cleared these killers and criminals out of government worldwide. If you can understand that, then you would see the reality we're trying to help you understand or see, is that we need to get rid of governments that are criminal in every capacity, because their crimes are extending into the population of every country.
Of course, we have a war to win and we're going to win it.